How? I've been working today, and I rewired our entire solar system. It was also, we've had it for a couple of years, so I flipped the batteries around. We got 4 of those, and so I flipped those around. The wires I was using on the fuses were it was too low of a gauge, or too whatever. The wrong gauge wires. They were 12 gauge, which is fine for light automotive purposes, but it was roasting. The wires were getting really hot. So now I got some big 10 gauge wire. I replaced those with some 10 gauge fuse holder. We're running like our panels can probably push for a little over 20 amps, and you know, it's like about 20 volts, yeah, 20, something like that. So yeah, and I don't know how much it can down convert that voltage to amps, but I've seen us getting close to 20 amps, and this is in Washington, and our panels are dirty and stuff like that. But I worked on this all day. So the other thing I did is I replaced some lightweight fuse holders with some heavy duty fuse holders from 12 gauge to 10 gauge wire. I also disconnected everything from the charge controller DC outlet, so we are now running our DC power straight off the batteries. And I wired a fuse box in, so we now have a fuse box and a DC outlet, inside DC lights, outside DC floodlights, and a roof vent, DC roof fan that I just got done completely rewiring. So I don't have any money for this month, so I have to wait till next month or so and get some wire tie-ups, some just ways to secure wires and stuff like that, because it looks like a wire mess in here. I know it looks not pretty, so don't judge, okay? I'm trying. But after I get this video done, I'm going to put the bed back together, and then it's going to be time for showers and shaving and making food. It's pretty late. I'm doing okay. I'm on new meds, by the way. I'll talk about that next on the live stream or something if you ask about it. But it's now time to go look at our new electrical setup. Well, it's the same one, but it's totally rewired, and it looks like it's doing happier stuff. So let's go this way. So here's the charge controller, and it's evening, so we're in the shade, and I'm still getting half an amp and 13.2 volts into there. So the batteries are happy. See, they're happy batteries. See, I have 400 amp hours, and it is 22 degrees Celsius in here. 100%, man. It says we're fucking 100%. That's doing pretty good. So right there, that's the charge controller. I used to have all of our DC stuff running straight from that, and I think it was causing a bit of overheating and some other problems. I don't think, here's a van lifer tip. Don't use the DC output on your charge controller. The charge controller is there to be a charge controller, not an electrical outlet. So remember that. This, on the other hand, this is a light duty USB port, which is aka otherwise known as a DC outlet, like a DC wall plug right there. And I got it, I don't know what gauge wires those are, but I got it set up on like a 3 amp fuse, I think. I figure 3 is good because our roof vent up there, it's also wired up. See, that works. It works. It's a 4 amp roof vent and 4 amp maximum. I can turn this on. That's on shore power, the shore power fan. I have to wait, it says to wait for it to stop spinning. And it's reversible. So that's working beautifully. And then, but this is the fuse box. I got that, there's a 4 amp fuse. The second from the right side is the roof fan, which is a 4 amp fuse. On the right of that is the DC outlet, which I have a 3 amp fuse. And the far left one is the outside floodlights, which I currently have a 2 amp fuse in there, and it seems to be doing good. I might see if it can handle a 1 amp fuse. But this is the first time I've done a fuse box. First time I've installed a fuse box and wired a few things straight to the fuse box from the batteries. So this here is 10 gauge wire straight from our 4 batteries. And I know this is it's kind of sort of the wrong color, but kind of sort of okay. It's this green color, and this is going back to the negative on the batteries, which is also where the ground is coming. I have a ground wire that comes out of the batteries and goes underneath the van, and so everything is actually grounded and properly and everything. And oh, and the lights, I wired these lights up. Let's see that? Yeah. Yeah, all kinds of variations. It's got just tons of colors. But I don't know what it. Oh, it's the slow fade. All kinds of different settings. And we got flashies and more flashies and that kind of a flashy, and a green flashy, a blue, yeah, purple, teal, strobe, yeah, lights. So that's the on switch there. This thing has an on and off switch. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the blue light that comes on to tell you when it's on. Batteries are doing awesome. So our batteries are underneath our bed. If you can see up here, this beams is where our bed would be, but this is the batteries, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 400 amp hours of batteries, and they seem to be working just beautifully. No corrosion, a little dusty of course, but that's not really an issue. I got the thermometer thingy in there too. It's way over here though. But here's where I put, see, that's the green from the fuse box. The bare copper wire is ground. The big heavy duty car, you see, this is just a connecting one to connect them, and this runs to the inverter. That's the negative on the inverter, and then you got the positive side, which they just connect all the way across. And then if you can see, I got 4 things coming out there. So one would be the big red one would be the inverter, I believe, which connects to that, which is a mega bus fuse. But everything comes off there. The 10 gauge red is from the charge controller. The other 10 gauge red is going to the fuse box, and then you have the connector cable, and then one going to the inverter. And that's how I got my batteries set up. And see, this is what I meant by we have a floating bed. If you look, I mounted our bed frame straight to the frame of the van. It's got a point there, so it's connected on 2 points on this side, and then 1 point on this side. But I put a double elbow piece on there, so it's got 2 elbow pieces basically on each side. That's our bed. Floodlights. I gotta show you the floodlights. Huh. Wow, it's bright out here. You want to do the floodlight button pushing?
Alrighty.
But they're up top. And they worked the last time. Do you remember where the button is?
Nope.
You have to open that back door and it's on your left side. There's a little pushy button in there. On the... Did you push the button?
Yeah. How come it won't
Push harder. There we go. Floodlights.
Yay.
And that's on a 2 amp fuse, and I think a 1 amp fuse might work. I'm not sure. Hi.
Hi.
That's our...
Floodlights.
We'll upload this some point in life. But I was just showing all the hard work I did today.
You were awesome.
And now I got to put it all back together. I mean the non-electrical stuff back together. Our bed's all outside. Our blankets are all everywhere.
Everything's all topsy-turvy.
Yeah. So.
But I swept the trailer. Woohoo!
Did I ever show them our Oh, cool. Did I ever show them our propane stove?
Don't know.
See, that's just our van stuff.
You're asking me if I remember shit.
Yeah. And way deep inside of the heart of Texas, or our crappy trailer,
propane stove.
is a Mega 30 BTU burner propane double. It's each burner is 30,000 BTU. So that's our stove. In fact, we're going to use that tonight and make baked potatoes.
In the Dutch oven.
Yes, the homemade Dutch oven.
They're so good.
Thank you. So I think that's it, and we'll probably premiere this in a couple of days.
Lots of RVs everywhere.
There
There's
are.
one there, there.
Oh my
there.
gosh, in a campground?
Fucking RVs fucking everywhere.
Yeah, and they don't do that in other countries. It's weird. People, that's what people from fucking Europe do. They come to America and rent RVs just so they can get the RV experience. It's silly. But yeah.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, oh, I forgot to mention up top was our 4 solar panels. Hopefully later in life to be upgraded. Because that only gives us 400 watts and I want to upgrade it to like 700 watts of 24 volt. That's a 12 volt system.
We haven't been in a sunny enough warm place for our solar water heater yet.
Yeah, it's been empty the whole time. But once we get to eastern Washington areas, that could all change.
All right, Luna, score.
Because to be honest, with the way showers are at these state parks, I'd if we could just hook up a shower curtain out here, I'd rather take the shower from that thing.
They're expensive. 50 cents for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
But we're getting by. I keep showing your boobs.
Yeah, they're there.
They're there. All right. Anything else to say for this thing?
I got nothing.
Oh, all right. Later.
Okay, bye.